Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about The Flash, episode 610, titled Marathon, which premiered Tuesday, February 4th, 2020 on the CW. I'm recording on, what is that, February 8th. So huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what they say about the episode. The reason for the late reply is because it's only today that I was able to actually watch it on Netflix. Something had come up on Tuesday that it really pulled my attention away from the actual episode itself. So, and I didn't feel right recording based off of me semi paying attention during that viewing of the episode. So I rewatched it again to get a full, so I could be fully absorbed and taken and give you an actual true reaction or recap as well to the episode. So again, spoilers alert and video reminders are up on screen as well. So I'll try to do this in 15 minutes. So let's start the clock and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline wise, it's a little iffy, but it's definitely the first Flash episode that is post-crisis. They did let out on the fact that Jitters was reopening after 5 months of being closed. I'm assuming that Jitters closed because of the events of 601 when Chester P. Runk's black hole kind of destroyed it. I think that was the last time we've seen Jitter, so that's my plot point there, which will kind of have us do October, November, December, January, which would make sense that we're actually taking place in early February for them. Another thing is that Iris's article about the Flash returning after crisis and stopping it is post-dated for January 14th, 2020, and she said that it's their still #1 article, so it's definitely past that point as well. And then also Diggle mentions that Oliver's will was revealed the previous day for him, and yet he has not moved to Metropolis just yet. So it has to be somewhere taking place within that montage ending after Oliver's funeral in the series finale of Arrow. So those are some key things. So about to pinpoint timeline, but I'm pretty sure it's roughly the same date as the episode itself. Episode reminder, again, is the fact that it's post-crisis. We do get a lot of clarifications on things, which I will touch upon in my tidbits, so stay tuned for that. Villain of the episode is Dr. Light of the Black Hole organization that the Citizen is looking into. Although Dr. Light is very different from the version of Dr. Light we saw in season 2 with Linda Park, I believe. So that is something as well. Episode breakdowns or storylines, if you will. I picked up on 2 distinct ones. We have the Black Hole Conspiracy, and then we have Oliver's last lesson. So with the first storyline, this is dealing with Black Hole Conspiracy. This is with Iris, Camilla, and Allegra, which being dubbed Team Citizen, are researching in the secret organization that has been training metas into becoming assassins. We see Cisco helping out when he can, Frost helping out when she can, and Cecile and Joe trying to give their advice on both fronts as law enforcement and as legal advice, because this is a lot bigger than just an episode issue. So apparently, I think this is the one that's supposed to key up to being like the big bad of the second half of this season. I think it's definitely looking like that. So it was interesting how they kind of jump started things. With second storyline, this is pertaining to Oliver's last lesson. This features Barry getting a visit from Diggle, who brings Oliver's original mask to him as requested in Oliver's last will and testament. Barry thinks it's a hidden mission from the mask itself from Oliver, which brings him to Lian Yu, only to realize that it's not. It's simply, the mask was simply just a reminder to Barry that he should take his own advice that he had given to Oliver when he first created the mask in episode 209 of Arrow. So there is that. Last moments of the episode is with Iris getting pulled into the mirror, or into this mirror dimension in the office of Eva McLuhan. So there's that. Tidbits, though. There's a lot of going on, but first, Killer Frost is just going by the name of Frost now. She clarifies that with Nash. Second, also, is that Frost survived one of Dr. Light's bullets. It's unsure whether or not this was due to where the bullet had its point of entry for her. It was in the shoulder as opposed to like a kill shot, or if it was because Frost was a metahuman and that's why she was able to pull it out. It's not unclear about that, but she survives that. Also, we have Nash revealing to the audience that he has an adventure photo of him and Allegra. So that could explain why he knows a lot about her powers already, or why he seems to have this kind of a protectiveness over her that he did show a little bit earlier in the episode after the Citizen was attacked by Dr. Light. We also find out, sadly, that before Crisis has started, Harry Wells of Earth 2 was showing signs of regaining his intelligence, and he had sent updates to Cisco about it through one of those memory cube things. And as we know, Harry had lost his intelligence due to what happened with the Thinker in season 4. So, also we got confirmation of the fact that Harry and Jessie are confirmed to not have survived the crisis, or they weren't able to be saved and brought to Earth Prime, unfortunately. So there's that. And then we have Cisco trying to figure out all the new post-crisis changes. It's not only the geography, but the timeline has changed as well. Having the world recreated in a way that Supergirl and Black Lightning, all their histories have been merged into the Arrow and Flash and Batwoman and Legends histories as if they always have been. Cisco even has a binder of doppelganger baddies in the form of little playing trading card type things, which is pretty cool. We also find out that Cisco doesn't have his vibe powers anymore, since breaches aren't possible with only Earth Prime in existence. He even states that the extrapolators do not work anymore, as the physics behind it is now altered greatly. We also see Cisco being tasked to travel Earth Prime and document all these post-crisis changes. Although there is an article out there that says that does not mean Cisco is permanently leaving the show. It just means that he's going on a little trip. So I will talk about that in a moment as well. And then there's all these major cities. So in Cisco's first scene of the episode, we actually see him with his whiteboards, or I guess the cleared boards, of all of his timeline changes, all the geographical changes of the worlds, and him trying to figure it out. So you see he has a clear shot of him and a North American map of all these different cities and where each of them are. So, and I also I'll link the link down below that I got like the specific details from, because you really only know from Cisco's map, like if they're East Coast or West Coast, or generally what vicinity of the United States the cities are in. You don't get like an actual like address or anything like that. But funny enough, Central City is not listed on the map, which I guess makes sense because they're in Central City. But for us as the viewers, it's like that's not helpful. But it has been stated though that hopefully it's the same now that the world has been created. But Central City is supposed to be 600 miles away from Star City. And the article did state that it's supposed to be near like real world Portland, Oregon. So still on the West Coast. Star City on the map is said to be near real world Seattle, a little bit north of West Coast, while National City is supposed to be just like Southern California. Gotham City seems to be on the west of Lake Michigan, so it's supposed to be between the real world Chicago and Milwaukee. Metropolis is supposed to be on the East Coast in Delaware. Freeland is supposed to be East Coast in Atlanta, Georgia, roughly. Corto Maltese, I didn't see it, but it was mentioned. Supposed to be off the coast of Brazil. Santa Prisca and San Monte were both on the map that Cisco had, both in the Caribbean. Santa Prisca is off the coast of Venezuela, while San Monte is somewhere close to Colombia and Ecuador. They did mention Gorilla City, but you didn't see it on the map because it's supposed to be on the west coast of Africa. And then we also see Happy Harbor on the map, though we never actually heard of them before in the Arrowverse, but it's on the East Coast in around Rhode Island's area. So that's a few things there that you can see on that map specifically. So that I find truly helpful just to know geographically, especially with all the three worlds have now joined together in Earth Prime. So that's awesome there. Let's move on to the most shocking moment of the episode. I think for me, well, I guess it kind of depends, because one, I guess everybody could say that their shocking moment could be Iris got trapped into the mirror. Me, I kind of anticipate it, because otherwise, why would you have such a lengthy end scene and not have it end on a cliffhanger? So once she revealed the mirror, I was kind of expecting for either she to be pulled in or something to come out and attack her. So, and it's not like it's the first time. We got the mirror dimension before. I think in season 2. Wasn't there like Mirror Master or something like that? Like we've seen it before. So maybe it's a version of that, or maybe it's just a science version of the mirror dimension or something. But I wasn't completely surprised that Iris got pulled in, like something happened with the mirror at the very end. But I guess it could have gone one of two ways. Either something came out of it and attacked her, or she got pulled into it. So I'm going to put that as a shocker because anything else I didn't really find as a shock. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments, I will say Barry and Diggle, super happy about that. I actually wasn't, like, I saw Diggle being in the sneak peek of the episode, for sure, but I didn't expect him to be as involved in the episode as he was. I mean, he took part in, like, the second major storyline in the episode, right? So not only was it grateful for Diggle's involvement, it was just great to see him and Barry bonding. Diggle giving Barry some advice about moving forward and just taking things slow. And then just to see some old things coming back to light about, like, Diggle hating, like, the super speed and always, like, puking whenever Barry uses it. This time he had Barry bring everything to them instead of him being taken there. And then when he really needed to be taken to Lian Yu, he just took all these, like, I'm guessing anti-nausea pills and before he got taken. And then Barry's just commenting on the fact, like, that's too much. But, like, Diggle's like, nope, I'm, like, covering my bases here. What do you got? So I was just like, it was really interesting to see them playing off of each other. It's definitely more great now because of the fact that, like, this is the first time we're seeing Diggle post Arrow series finale. But then I'm also left wondering, is this before or after he found the Green Lantern ring? So that's a little something there. But it was really fun seeing them together. Another favorite I did have was just Cisco's rant to Frost about the whole post-crisis changes. His speech is pretty much his speech about what has changed and what hasn't changed in Crisis. It's definitely something I really needed. And it makes sense that we got it in The Flash. I kind of wish that we'd gotten this speech, though, as, like, the first of the post-crisis episodes of the Arrowverse. As opposed to it being, like, what, the 6th or something, the 5th or 6th, because 2 of Supergirl have aired, 2 of Batwoman have aired, I'm thinking 2 of Black Lightning have aired, 2 of Legends have aired, Arrow I'm not going to count because the series has ended, so that's at least 8 episodes have aired post-crisis before this episode. So while I appreciate about that whole breakdown with Cisco's rant, I'll even put it up on screen if you really need to get the full gist of, like, his reaction. But then, like, I don't think there's anyone better than Cisco to really pinpoint these changes because he's the one that would want to document and want record of all of them so they'd be aware. But I just love the fact that it really laid out what the difference was between pre and post-crisis world and how he's saying, like, there's some bad guys that have come back with new faces or new color changes. There's some resurrections that have happened. There's things that have moved around. There's more team-ups and more aliens with the deal with, more difference in sciences, more metas and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that speech, and it was just hilarious to see him reacting in such a way. So there's that. And another favorite I did have was just the idea of Team Citizen, which is Iris, Camilla, and Allegra, really going down on the research of this conspiracy with Black Hole. I just love the teamwork around it. I love their focus and their drive to do it. I appreciate that they each have their own strengths in regards to that team, or in regards to that, I guess, that mission between them. So I'm really looking forward to them taking the lead when it comes to finding the truth in stories. I'm glad they've teamed it up for this, and now that Crisis is over, they can, like, get back to, like, okay, we're reporters, we need to unload the truth, and we're going to do it together type of thing. So I do appreciate that, and it was great to see Iris taking lead and having the support that she had with Camilla and with Allegra as well. So that was pretty cool. Now moving on to top 3 peeved moments, I actually don't really have a peeve. I couldn't really think of one, and this episode was really good in trying to space out what the 2 different focuses are. It did a really good job in not only setting up what I'm assuming is the big bad for this second half of the season, but it also still touched upon the grief that that Barry was having in regards to Oliver's death. So I found it to be a great balance as well, for sure. So I didn't really have an issue with this episode. So I'm actually surprised by that. So there is that. But moving on to random questions very quickly. First, it's one that I didn't really understand because Cisco confirms that there is only Earth Prime. His breaches don't work. He doesn't have his vibe powers anymore. But if the multiverse is completely gone and it's only Earth Prime, then this is what I don't get, because in the last part of Crisis on Infinite Earths, that last montage where it had Oliver's voiceover about him explaining the new creation of this new world, it also showed cameos of the other DC shows. And I assumed from that montage that that meant that this new world has its own multiverse being created from it. So if that, and yet Cisco is saying that no, it's just Earth Prime, there is no multiverse anymore, then what was the whole purpose of seeing the other DC shows like Doom Patrol, Titans, the new Stargirl show coming up on CW, Swamp Thing, I'm probably missing other ones too, all those other little cameos we got at the end of the episode? What was showing that to us in a post-crisis world meant to mean if it didn't mean that it was a new multiverse? There's the timer and there's the phone. Hold on, give me one moment. Okay, never mind, we're good. So that was a huge question that I had, because once Cisco said like all these things, like they were the only ones left, I kept going back to point 5, like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. So please, if anyone has an answer or can lead me to an article that has an answer, please let me know. Another question was, how long do you think Cisco will be away from Star Labs? Will we see him on his travels of collecting the differences between pre and post-crisis? Could that mean he could appear as a cameo on any of the other Arrowverse shows? Or is it just going to be like he's missing an episode and then he comes back in the second episode with all of his ventures? Like, I don't want him to be gone for too long, but then I also want to see him on his travels too, or at least getting an update, like maybe a scene with him on a phone and saying like, oh, updates, I'm sending all this information to you, it's looking cool, and like kind of like, oh, I gotta go, I'm being chased or something, like just having something like that to at least have us still be with Cisco. But that's a question there. I'm glad he's not actually leaving the show, because when he was actually say like after the episode ended, it was just like, yeah, while I'm gone, take care of the team. I got worried because of the rumors of him actually leaving. So I'm glad that I found the article that said that he was not. Cisco's just temporarily taking a vacation from Star Labs. So there's that. But if you have any answers about how long he's going to be gone for, let me know. Or even if your own predictions of how long do you think he's going to be gone for. Again, please let me know. Also, last question. What is Allegra's connection to Nash? Are we thinking an apprentice? Are we thinking a possible relative? I mean, he's definitely lost his version of her, because none of their doppelgangers have made it to Earth Prime. And that's another thing that they pointed out in the episode. So, yeah. What do you guys think? And that is pretty much it. So let's move on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 6/11, it looks like Barry notices a difference in Iris. She's very confrontational with him. They seem to be butting heads a lot in the episode. And also we see the return of Annette Black. With the synopsis though, and I'll give my prediction off of that promo in a second, but based off the synopsis though, it reads that Barry and Iris plan a romantic dinner for Valentine's Day, but their evening is interrupted by an old foe, Amunet. Meanwhile, Frost gets into the holiday spirit and attempts to help Allegra reconnect with an old love. So that will be interesting to see how Frost deals with Valentine's Day. As opposed to Iris's change in mannerism, I don't think it's actually Iris. So either she isn't still stuck in that mirror dimension and whatever had taken her has come out and is impersonating her. So that's one option there, I think, and that's who the Iris we see in the promo is. Or the second one is that something has happened to Iris in the mirror dimension that has changed her, so that when she got spit back out, there's something like fundamentally different about her. So that's a question. So those are my two predictions there. So it's definitely, the Iris who went in is definitely not the same Iris that we're seeing in the promo for sure, for some reason. So that's something there, but sorry. But otherwise, guys, that's pretty much it. What'd you guys think about the episode? What'd you guys like about? What do you think will happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about all that good stuff. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all fun in one place. So please check that out as well. WordPress, did I just mention that? Wow, I just blanked out. It's just on like repeat. But WordPress, link down below. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress. A little more organized, a little more in detail, but still in work in progress once again. Also, guys, just as a huge reminder, I am not doing recap videos for every Flash episode, just because, again, I am still in school. At the time of this recording, I just finished week 5 of my term 2 for my program. So if anything, the next time I will do a Flash episode is if either A, there is a moment of breathing room with my work, with my course load, and I'm able to do it, or 2, there is a gap between episodes, like maybe if there's a hiatus week and it aligns with school and I can do that for sure, or 3, if it was a major turning point in the episode and I just need to talk about it, then I'll do that as well. So definitely keep on the lookout for, because you never know, and I never know when the next Flash episode would be, but maybe in a few weeks or so. We'll wait and see about that. I'm getting a lot of stuff that I have, a lot of assignments that I really should get back to. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to see what I have to say about the next episode. If not, check out my other videos on my channel to bide the time until then. But otherwise, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.